There's an ancient Korean folktale about a rat that eats human fingernail clippings. By doing so, it steals the person's face, their voice, and their memories, eventually replacing them so completely that the original life is erased. Netflix's Mousetrap takes that terrifying myth and drops it into a modern, grounded psychological thriller. Instead of magic, it focuses on the cold, systematic theft of a man's identity. We watch this play out through Moon-jae. One day, his phone won't unlock, his bank accounts are frozen. When he tries to prove who he is, he finds that someone has systematically erased every digital and physical record of his existence. Before you dive in, you need to know what you're signing up for. This is a massive 10-episode release on a major streaming platform, clocking in at nearly 9 hours of total runtime. Most identity theft stories treat the actual crime like an action movie, racing from one chase scene to the next. Mousetrap avoids that, relying instead on a creeping, slow burn execution. Which brings us to the real dilemma for you as a viewer. Does that dark, heavy premise justify a 9-hour investment when you aren't guaranteed a fast-paced payoff? This isn't the kind of show you can leave running in the background while you scroll on your phone. It demands highly active, undivided attention. Mousetrap takes a cultural nightmare and points it directly at our modern fears of isolation. You just have to decide up front if you truly have the emotional stamina for a marathon of pure psychological dread. The foundation of that dread starts with Moon-jae himself. Before the theft, he spent 3 years in voluntary, complete isolation. No social media, no public presence, no digital footprint. He wanted to disappear from the world. But that choice is exactly what made him the perfect helpless target for the imposter known only as the Rat. There is a trade-off here for the audience. Because Moon-jae has so few connections to leverage, he is largely passive in the early episodes. You have to be patient as he tries to fight back with absolutely nothing. What keeps you hooked during that build-up is the casting. Ryu Jun-yeol plays both the erased victim and the ruthless imposter. The director uses this setup to create a deep psychological discomfort. You are constantly watching Moon-jae's exact face being weaponized against him. The actors don't rely on obvious physical changes, like a different haircut or wardrobe, to tell the two men apart. The differences are conveyed entirely through subtle shifts in moral weight and micro-expressions. If you aren't watching closely, you will miss those visual cues, and missing them breaks the entire tension of the cat-and-mouse dynamic. Ryu Jun-yeol's technical precision in this dual role is the show's greatest asset. But to actually appreciate it, you have to watch in a strict, zero-distraction environment. Because Moon-jae can't prove he exists, he has no legal recourse. He can't even walk into a police station to report the crime. With nowhere else to turn, he ends up at the door of Noja, a ruthless loan shark running an off-the-books private detective outfit. Played by Sul Kyung-gu, Noja becomes his only option. Noja isn't helping out of goodwill. He's hunting the Rat to recover his own stolen money, and he is indifferent to Moon-jae's well-being. It creates a volatile dynamic between the two men. This is a partnership built entirely on shared desperation and survival, rather than trust. Director Kim Hong-sun uses that uneasy alliance to anchor his overarching visual and pacing strategy across the 10 episodes. He deliberately avoids the snappy pacing of a standard police procedural. Instead, he leans heavily into the suffocating atmosphere inspired by the original folktale. That commitment to mood does come at the cost of narrative momentum. The mid-season episodes, in particular, feel increasingly heavy. The result is a show that functions more like a sprawling horror movie trapped inside a crime thriller. It rewards atmospheric purists, but it will challenge anyone looking for a quick resolution. Let's look at this chart to see if that 9-hour emotional investment will yield a positive return for you. We can map this on the K-thriller spectrum, plotting narrative pace against how much effort you have to put in. Down here in the bottom left, we have the casual binger. This is the viewer looking for a fast-paced revenge plot or something easily digestible to watch while multitasking. If that's you, you will likely experience a mid-season drop-off. The psychological weight and the lack of physical action will make the runtime feel like a chore. But then we have the optimizer in the top right. These are cinema purists and fans of methodical character studies who value tension over speed. Mousetrap sits way up here, deep in this extreme corner. For this group, the rewards are concrete. You're watching Ryu Jun-yeol's technical precision in playing two distinct versions of the same face, coupled with a story that uses Moon-jae's isolation to show how easily a life can be deleted when no one is watching. In the current crowded streaming landscape, it is a rare release that actually justifies the time required to finish it. Mousetrap is built for viewers who are willing to do the psychological work, using an ancient cultural nightmare to prove that the most terrifying monsters are the ones wearing our own faces.